Alright, this hive is much lighter. And it doesn't seem to have as many resources as that hive had. So we're still feeding. That's the feeder. Again, as you can see, it's full of ants. So I'm just gonna deal with the ants and get them out of here. It's pretty frustrating. Haven't found a good solution. Not with the feeders on. The Vaseline. Oh, sorry, girls. Vaseline seemed to work somewhat. As you can see how this works. The girls don't normally get up into this here. So we're just gonna give this a little shake off. And I'll sort that out before I put it back on. I'll get rid of the girls and let them clean that off for now. So basically I'm doing the same thing on this one as I did for the other one. We're gonna pull this hive apart. As you can see, they're not overly happy. This hive is a lot lighter than the other hive. It's foam, so it tends to be a little bit easier to maneuver. The frames are still heavy, especially when they're full of honey, so you're still going to get that heavy feeling from the frames, but not as much as the frames and the box itself. So I'm placing the box over top of a lid because I don't want to lose my queen, of course. And so here is the strips. So these girls, we've been feeding all of them, and these girls seem to have done really well. Like when I look in here, they had been quite empty, so it looks like they're building up some really good resources for the fall. The only concern you ever have is, you definitely don't want them to end up honey bound, so if you feed them too much, then you certainly worry. But for the most part, you want them to be able to just have some brood and honey and nectar, all of it all together, pollen, all of it together, sorry, for the winter. As you can see, they're not overly happy with me right now. But again, that's, come on girls, off. This one is probably about maybe 45 pounds or so, give or take. It's not light either, but it's not nearly as heavy as the other one. But certainly for one person, it can get quite heavy. So sometimes you'll see people working with just single broods versus double brood boxes for that reason. I'm just going to actually have a little look-see in here. Just see how they're doing for resources. We do have a queen in here. We did find her. So we do have a laying queen, which is nice to know because you always worry, especially with low resources or a weaker hive. Yeah, so they're doing quite well now, it looks like. There's some wasps in here, so they've probably had a little bit of robbing going on because I can see a couple wasps in here, and for some reason the girls aren't getting rid of them. So we'll just toss them out for them. Chase that wasp out. Yeah, it's actually looking pretty good in there, so that makes me pretty happy. Everybody's good. Put this all back together and open it back up in 14 days and continue to feed them. See you later.